Hello, everyone. And as you know, my name is Zenzi Sewa, and my guest today is Kerie Logan. And Kerie is a spiritual advisor, a human conscious guide, and an empowerment strategist. And she's going to explain all about that. But of course, as you know, my program's about our spiritual struggles, how we connected to our spiritual path, what led us there. So without much ado, Kerie is in Oregon, USA, and of course I'm in London. I say good afternoon. It's good afternoon for me, Kerie, because it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon here, but it's 7 minutes.
8 a.m.
It's 8 a.m. where you are. So you're up early. So it's a big time difference. Thank you so much for joining us. It's very early for you, but you've come today to tell us your story and how you connected to your spiritual path. So, Kerie, I hand it over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So for me, I'd have to say in the very beginning, what was the biggest blessing was my mom left the Catholic Church and she got involved with the Inner Peace movement in Berkeley, California. And it was a group of a lot of spiritually enlightened women that would talk to angels, would work with their spirit guides and teach meditation, how to get grounding, all that you would call back then woo-woo stuff.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I found it so fascinating. And I didn't know at such a young age that I was an empath, and I didn't know that I was an intuitive empath. And I always had this ability to sit with someone and listen to their story, and the wisdom that would come out of me would just blow people away. I mean, when my parents were getting divorced, I pretty much was my dad's therapist, literally, which is not right, but I was. And not until, and it was funny because even in my 20s, when I was doing what a lot of people do in this world, you know, trying to keep a roof over their head and survive, I worked with this major corporation, and one day a coworker came up to me and said, Kerie, I don't know what it is about you, but you're different, because when anyone has a problem in this office, whether it is business or professional, they come to you. They don't go to HR, they go to you. And the stuff that comes out of your mouth is just like wild, but you're accurate and you give everyone relief. You're not a psychologist or a psychiatrist or even a therapist. How do you do this? Mm-hmm. And I just told her, I listen and I connect with my heart, and what is it, what insights are coming to me. And I didn't know, because a lot of people along this spiritual journey, they think they're going to hear a voice outside of their head. Mm-hmm. And we don't. That's more schizophrenia. What we're hearing is this divine guidance coming within, where it's like, ooh, what's that? Ooh, that's interesting. And like last night, I was listening to an audiobook by Paul Selig, who channels, and the channels were clearly saying that when you become one with our Creator, all that guidance comes in.
Yes.
And it knows you better than you know yourself.
Exactly.
And I have said that to every one of my clients that I work with, where I get this divine guidance and I'll be like, oh my God, do you have generational trauma? You know, oh, do you have this? Do you have that? And they'll look at me just like jaw drop saying, how would you know that? Why would you ask me that?
Yeah.
And it's so clear and precise, because they know my heart's intention is to help them heal. Yes. Is to give them a sense of relief and to get them unstuck.
Yes.
And so and I've had people literally pay psychics to read me, because they're always fascinated, you know, how do you do this? How do you do this? I know. And so, but it's great because I'm a clinical certified hypnotherapist. I've been doing that for over 20 years. I've been voted the best for the past 14 consecutive years for Salem, Oregon. So I must be doing something right.
Right.
And I use that in my work to help people.
Yeah.
And the power that I've noticed in using this is it really transforms a person's life. So along my journey, I was a hypnotherapist, but it really wasn't until 2012 that I had a huge awakening where I woke up one morning and Spirit, God, whatever you want to call it, said to me, Kerie, you're going to write this book, and here's the table of contents, and sit in front of your computer and start typing. And I did. And I channeled this amazing book called Affirming and Focusing on Living a Better Life. And in that period, I should little backpedal here, is for 2 years, I used to teach a law of attraction class. And 1 year I got tired of teaching it. I wanted to do a mastermind class. And I said, I want to do it. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Let's do it. And in a 10-month period, I manifested over 22 things my heart desired.
Okay.
22 things. And that's what the book is all about. Affirming and focusing on living a better life is how we are powerful manifestors, but also it broke it down into sections of understanding this and like, why do you want to end things on a positive note? Here's a section for analytical people. Here's this, understand your emotions. And so when I got to chapter 2 about understanding the power of our emotions is when I channeled fascinating information about human consciousness.
Okay.
And what spoke to me said, science has backed this. Go online and research it. And so I did. And I actually found Dr. David Hawkins' work about the map of human consciousness. And I was so over the moon. I was like, does this man realize what he discovered? And when I tried to contact him, he died that year. That same exact year, I channeled that book. So a lot of people wonder, was I channeling his insights because he wasn't, I feel, complete in the work that he did? And so what I was guided, by up above is to start coaching everyone using this method and this formula and get everyone to align to the vibration of love. That's the most important thing. That's the first step of 5D human consciousness. And if you listen to any channeling books and they talk about the small self, the wounded self, the egotistical self, what they are talking about is people stuck in 3D human consciousness. And it looks like this. So on my website, Master the Upper Rooms of Human, mastertheupperrooms.com, if you go to free stuff and free images, there's a breakdown of what is 3D human consciousness, what is 4, and what is 5. Okay. So an example of 3D human consciousness is someone that's prideful, vain, self-righteous, black and white thinking. There's cheating in there. There's anger. There's hatred. There's vengefulness, hostility. There's fear, anxiety, hypervigilance, suspicious. There's grief, sadness, heartbroken, despair, hopelessness, shame. All these negative, lower thought patterns and emotions that, yes, as human beings, we fluctuate throughout our day. But the important thing is where is your resting set point? That's the key. Because 4D human consciousness, which looks like this sheet, the very first step is courage. Where you are confident, you feel secure in yourself, you're liberated, everyone is included, you're determined and motivated, you're flexible, you're goal oriented. You're not, you can agree to disagree. And then what I call baseline is the 200 and 250, because 250 is where you're grounded, you're centered, you're balanced, you're adaptable, you're satisfied with life, you're non-judgmental. and you're unattached to outcomes, and you feel like you belong. And you're realistic. You're not a daydreamer. You're realistic. And you're not like a negative Nelly. You're realistic. And that to me is a baseline where people need to master. And they need to create balance in their life. And here's the important thing. So this is free also. This is like balance. So why I say that is many high executive professionals, they're all about, they've mastered financial income. They've mastered their career, their business, money management, savings, investments. But a lot of them suck in the area of connections with people. They don't know how to connect to their family. They don't know how to have fun or play or even take a vacation. And when they take a vacation, it takes them 5 days to decompress, and so they're lacking in that area. And what I like to do is create balance in everybody's life, because there's more to life than just work.
Exactly. Can I take you back just a little bit, well, quite a bit, because you said it started when your mother left the Roman Catholic Church and
Yes.
she went to a different, and things started to take off from there. So prior to that, there was no inkling in you whatsoever, or nothing was untoward that made you feel something is not right?
I always felt like I didn't belong.
Okay.
I always felt like I couldn't understand people. And I have learned in my spiritual discovery of me that I am a soul and a half. And what that means is, when I was doing EMDR trauma therapy, and I think it was 2016, I mean, I grew up in a very toxic, dysfunctional home, extremely toxic, dysfunctional home. And I know you want to pause me.
Yeah. What is EMDM therapy?
EMDR. It is eye rapid movement. It's like a desensitization. It helps with trauma.
Okay.
And what you do is you watch a finger or a light bar. I was watching a light bar go back and forth and back and forth. And I had tapping sounds in my ears and little buzzers in my hands. And it opens up, like, I call it Pandora's box.
Okay.
Repressed memories that are so traumatic that, because I always had this memory of my parents arguing in a kitchen, and I saw my dad almost kill my mom for the second time. It was that horrific. And I discovered in EMDR therapy that why that happened is she was protecting me, because she witnessed him touching me in an inappropriate way.
Okay.
And she wanted him to stop. And yeah.
So, and this was part of your dysfunctional
upbringing.
And continue, yeah, because obviously it was a suppressed memory, yeah.
Oh, it was way suppressed, because I had the memory of, one blip of it, but not the whole thing. And so when I did the EMDR, it showed me what happened, why it happened, and all of that. But what was so weird is it kept stemming and focusing around my older brother. And I died. When I was about 4.5 years old, I died. My older brother suffocated me and I died. And it was very confusing having this dream, because I saw myself lying on the ground and him kicking me and kicking me and kicking me and trying to get me to suck in air. And my dad is a fireman, and he knows, first aid, CPR, and all that stuff. And so I was brought back to life. And I was really fascinated about that, because everyone that's met me has always said, you're not from here, you're different. And so I did a life between live session with someone in, I think, 2012. And when I did that, I did discover, yes, you did die. And when I was up there, I told God, what my soul purpose was. And my soul purpose was to help my whole entire soul group family overcome generational trauma. And at that time, I was like, how am I going to do that? Now I know how to do it. I mean, now I do. But I learned that only half of my soul was willing to come back, and the other half was not. And supposedly, God asked me an important question, and that was, would you be willing to do this for the whole of humanity, to give this same gift? Because it's a selfless act of unconditional love. And I said in a heartbeat, yeah, I will do it. And so God gifted me Tobias. And Tobias is from Vega, the brightest star in the galaxy. He is a feline race. I know it sounds so weird, but
interesting is more like it, I would say.
He is. And people have seen me literally get up on stage and my whole persona changes. It is Tobias. Him, his confidence, his strength, his clear speaking. And it's so bizarre because over my bed, I have a giant picture of a lion head. Giant picture of a lion head.
Okay.
And I look at that and it resonates with me. It always has. And when I told my younger brother about this, he was like, oh my gosh, I believe you. Because
do you see that lion's head as being Tobias?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And I didn't even know. I didn't know. I mean, I had a stuffed animal. My favorite one as a little girl, and it was a lion, a big lion. Yeah. And I've always been a cat person. Always. I'm like the cat whisperer. I can go up to any cat. I'm the cat whisperer. I know it's so strange. And I didn't learn about Tobias until 2023, when I had a big spiritual awakening that freaked everybody out. It even freaked me out because I was downloading so much information, and I was shown the Lamb's Book of Life. I didn't even know what that was. I was shown another book when people defy God, that their name's going to go in this book. And I was told all about the ascension process, and you're now going to teach Master the Upper Rooms to help people enter the kingdom of heaven. and I was just like, what is going on here? And it was blowing my mind. And when I listened to anyone's channeling books, I then immediately knew exactly 100% what every guide was saying. This is what they're trying to tell us, human beings. And when I went to my brother, who's a Christian, and I said, I'm seeing this stairway. This is what human consciousness is. This is a stairway going up. And that's what Jesus was trying to teach all of us, is how to become kind, loving human beings, to be one with God, to let all this anger and hatred, all that go and rise up out of it. That's what he was trying to teach us. And when I explained everything to him, because I was even told by God that you're the lamb and the lion. And I'm like, what is that? And it said, look it up. And when I looked it up, it literally, and what was bizarre is
the lion laid down with the lamb. Yeah.
Yes. And the little lamb is a little girl. Oh. And the lion is Yes. And it also says that there's some prophecies in there that says that the lamb sleeps with wolves, yes. With the wolf. Yes. And my son had wolves all over a bedspread, a lamp, posters of wolves all over his room. And it also said that the infant is with the cobra, and the infant is not afraid of the cobra. Yeah. And this is where it gets bizarre in that area is, and I've just come out this year sharing this, I am the author of the book, The Undetected Narcissist. I'm Angela Meyer. I did a podcast for 3 years about narcissism, but I did it coming from a place of love, compassion, and wisdom. And I was guided by God to do that because that was my dark night of the soul, because going through narcissism, because everyone I've discovered that's an empath has experienced narcissist.
Okay.
And they ruin, I don't want to say they ruin us, but they dim our light.
Yes.
And what I was told by God is, no, you need to help these people get their light back, heal, recover. You need to teach them how to forgive the unforgivable. You need to help them understand, why did I attract this person? And to, because we humans create them. That was another bizarre thing, is one night God said to me, do you know you humans create narcissistic people? And I was like, what? And God said, look it up. And I did.
It's true. It's true.
It's true. It is. And when I talked to my son's psychiatrist about it, I says, is this true? And he was like, bingo. How did you know? And I wasn't going to say, well, God told me, you know.
Because we humans don't realize that when we were created by God, in the image of God, and he creates everything good. We're the ones who go off and do nonsense. And what we then find around us is what we've actually created. And it's down to us to put it right.
Yeah.
But we got to accept that fact. You know, it's all like, why did God allow this? Oh my God, we had free will.
Yes.
We got free will. It's down to us. Oh, I love what you're saying. Please continue. I love what you're saying.
Yeah. So it was just so mind-boggling. I mean, I was even told, this is going to be a test on your marriage, and you're gonna leave your husband for 40 days and 40 nights, and you're going to return. That happened. I mean, and there's even an artist that is so fascinating, the woman that painted Jesus. Have you heard about her? I think her name is Akane. She's the one that channeled and painted the image of Jesus. There's messages in a lot of her paintings that I can decipher and decode and really get. And why I say that's fascinating is, when I was recovering from the narcissistic abuse, and I literally had PTSD from that experience, I was ready to quit my job. I, like most people, I was so depressed and sad and everything. I mean, I was not in a good place. It was really a dark passage of the night soul. And God sent me a Catholic nun. God literally sent me a Catholic nun. And this Catholic nun, someone in the community told her about me. She had PTSD. So we aligned. And she knew that she shouldn't have been there. I mean, she even said to me that if the Catholic Church knows I'm here, they're going to kick me out. But I tried to take my life, and God stopped me. Literally, like you see that sliding glass door. She said, one day I tried running full speed at a glass plate window, and it didn't shatter. And she said, that was God stopping me from taking my life. And someone in the community told me about you and said, you got to see this woman. And you're going to love this. She ended up calling me her spiritual advisor. But the real kicker was, after the end of the session that I did with her, she looks at me and she says, do you know God talks to you? And I looked at her and I said, how do you know? Because no one's really called me out on it. I said, how do you know? And she said, because everything you said and described, I was seeing it and thinking it before you even said it. It was like you were holding my hand, walking with me the whole way. And I said, I was. Because before I start speaking, I'm sitting in front of my mic and I'm praying. I'm connecting to this. I'm connecting to you. And I ask, you know, God and the angels and, you know, sacred people to flow through me to say what you need to hear. And it's unscripted, and it's like fascinating work. Beautiful. And so it developed this really, she actually was so important in my life of healing and recovery, because I was ready to just give up on myself, give up on doing any of this. And I needed someone to, let's say, believe in me.
Yeah.
Because I did have my spirituality brought up in court, what they're not supposed to do by the narcissist person, and tried to, you know, shame me and make me look like I'm crazy, which, you know, which is just not right. You know,
no, but they don't understand it.
No, they don't understand it. And so after I healed and recovered, so here's the interesting thing about her is, and about this artist, which might be kind of weird to some people, but you can see the face in this painting. So when she told me about the artist that painted Jesus, she said, well, let's check out our website. See, you know, this is some of her artwork, Kerie. And she was in my office and I pulled her up and there was one picture that she did called The Light. And that drew me in so big that I bought that picture and I put it up on my wall. And I would look at it and look at it. And one day I saw a face and it started to talk to me. And I knew who it was. It was Archangel Gabriel, the messenger of light. And I told Sister Miriam that, hey, I see a face in this painting now. And she was like, oh, that's a sign from God. I have to come over and see this painting. I want to see if I could see the face. And so she came over. She couldn't see it. And I said, sit right here. I'm going to point out the outline on the face and let's see if you can see it. And let's see if you know who it is. And so she's sitting there on the edge of my bed and she all of a sudden pops up off the bed and says, oh, it's Archangel Gabriel. And I was like, how did you know? And she said, God just told me. And Archangel Gabriel was the one that inspired me to write The Undetected Narcissist, and was the one that said to me, write it coming from a place of love, compassion, wisdom, and understanding, so people can really grasp the concept. Tell your story from start to finish so people can understand the definitions of what is gaslighting, what's stonewalling, what's projection, what's the silent treatment, what's flying monkeys. And you then tell a story that resonates with that definition in each chapter along the way.
Yeah.
And that was, honestly, writing that book and doing that podcast was so healing for me that I've had people come to me and say, it's been a lifesaver, because so many other people, yes, come from hate, anger, and fear. They'll say, no, you know, you don't need to forgive the unforgivable when you actually do.
You do. It's interesting what you said is that our journey here and for growth, our spiritual growth, is to understand we have to forgive everything.
Yes, we do.
Even Satan himself, we have to, because God loves him, because he is a fallen person just as we are, so to speak, you know what I mean?
Okay, so you threw that out there, and I have not shared this online, period, but this happened in my spiritual awakening. God said to me one night, Lucifer is going to visit you tonight. And if you look up that woman's painting, Triumph, that she did, you will see exactly what I mean, because I did that. And next to the picture, when I came back home, God said to me, you completed this, and I'm going to show you that you did. And in the picture, next to the hand of light going out and the dark hand coming up, is a woman's face with long flowing hair. And when I looked at that, because God pointed it out, I never saw it before, he said, that's you. So here's what happened. That night that Lucifer came, I was in my bed shaking and crying. And he said, because when I reached out first to Sister Miriam and was telling her, this is what he's showing me, the Lamb's Book of Life. And, you know, because I had to ask, what is this book? And showing me this and telling me this. And she was like, no, the devil's talking to you. And it was just like crazy. And God did say that you're going to reach out to 3 people. One of these people is going to bring you a book and it will tell you everything. And that did happen. But I was being tested, and I believe this is why I had Tobias. So what ended up happening is I was struggling, and Lucifer said to me, do for me what you did for your son's father. And I thought, what was that? And he reminded me, I did the Hono Pono Ono. And I even did it in a podcast episode.
Yes,
where I said, I am sorry. Please forgive me. I love you and thank you. And that's when Lucifer showed me his whole life, how he fell from grace, his wings were cut, all of that, how he had regrets and remorse, but he couldn't go back up, and he was stuck in prideful anger and ego, that. And God was up here, and God couldn't come down and get it. And God literally said, I need a human to help me do this. And so all of a sudden I started crying tears, not for fear, but for him. And I said, oh my God, I am so sorry this happened to you. I love you because you're a part of me. You're God's creation. You're immortal. And please forgive me for being afraid of you. Let me help you out. Let me take you back home. And I literally saw this stairway open up, and I was surrounded by light. And I went down the stairway all the way to the bottom, all the way down. And there was Lucifer as a young boy. And she has a painting called Veil. That's Lucifer. And I said, take my hand, pick up your cross. I'm going to take you back home to your dad. I'm going to take you back home to heaven. Walk with me. I am your friend. I love you. And I literally took his hand and walked him up, saying, just talking, doing over again. I am sorry I was afraid of you. I'm sorry you had this life experience. Please forgive me. You're a beautiful soul. I know you need redemption, so I am here for you. And I took him all the way up, all the way up. And here's the most wild thing is I said to him, welcome home, welcome home. And she has a painting called Welcome. I saw that exact image. And it blew my mind, because then God said after that, and here's the beautiful thing is after that experience, it got so peaceful and so calm. And Lucifer came back and said, I have a gift for you. And he showed me the world, and it had this thick veil, gray veil around it. And he said, now I'm going to lift this veil, and people that were born in darkness and created out of darkness will be exposed now to the light. Thank you. And I saw him pull the veil back and pull the veil back. And it was beautiful. And if you think about it, if we are supposed to have a world full of peace and happiness and joy, Lucifer has to return to heaven.
He does. He has to, because this is what I say to this is what I try and say to people. I said, look, everything is in front of us, but we don't recognize it because of the lines and things. If God created everything, he also had to create Lucifer. But he didn't create Lucifer as a bad person. He created everything in beauty, love, unconditional love, and light. It is our free will. It is ourselves that then go off the rail. Lucifer went off the rail, and he kept on going. And it's the same with us at different levels. We go off the rail. But it's not us, because we have to say we want to return. It is not by force, because our actions when we went off the rail was not by force, and our return must also not be by force. Everything is free will and love. I love you. I love everything you've said.
And so like I connected with another person where she said, have you heard about the woman that wrote the book? What is it? The Sophia Code. And she said, you got to listen to what she said, because when I shared my story, she said, you're an ancient one. Do you realize that? You're an ancient one, and that's why you're here. Because a lot of people, and it was bizarre, because I started listening to her book, and she mentions that you're going to learn about all of your past lives. And I've had memories of my past lives pop up of when I was in the Atlantia before it fell. And I tried warning people, this is what's going to happen. I was a prophet and we perished. Someone else recommended this book about going all the way back to ancient Egypt, like some lost stuff. And when I read this little thin book, I was like, I know everything they're talking about. It literally is all about consciousness, because we are a spiritual being having a human experience. And my logic is, when we die, our soul and the consciousness, all the memories in that lifetime form together and blend.
Yes.
And then whatever we need to learn or continue to learn, we find a new vessel and we go into that one.
Yes.
And that's why we can have generational trauma. And that's why past lives can influence our current lives if there's unresolved issues. I get it all now so clearly. And so the real purpose for me, I feel, being here is to help people raise their levels of consciousness, to get unstuck, and to live a life they want to love and enjoy. And it's not about the ego. It is about your divine right, your divine birthright. And like you said, remembering who you are and what you are.
Yes.
And then once you do, it's like everyone has a place to be of service to humanity. And it doesn't matter if you're taking out the garbage or if you're plumbing a toilet or something, you're still doing a service that people need.
And we need to respect one another.
And we need to respect one another.
If it's the garbage man, respect him. If it's the sewage man or woman, respect them. They are helping you in your life to live that life. Not because it's a doctor or a professor or this president or what. No. The lowest of the low is equal to the highest of the high.
Yes, it is. It is 100%. Amen to that. And another thing I wanted to share, and this is really important for anyone on their spiritual journey, is my father was a strict Christian, read the Bible twice a day, attended all church functions, but beat his wives and his kids, did not practice what he preached. I mean, and I had a stigma around the word God. And how God found its way through me is divine love.
Yes.
Because there is a masculine and a feminine of our creator. And so the feminine side, just like the Sophia code, she said it's the feminine part of God coming in. That's what came to me that's what first approached me, because I would tell people I channel divine love. I mean, when I asked, who are you? What are you? That was our creator speaking to me through the feminine side. And I love it. When I think about it right now, and I really feel it, like my head is buzzing. I literally feel the energy and the love and the joy and the sweetness and the, that beautiful feminine nurturing energy. And not until I realized, I had the realization that, oh my God, this is God. It is our creator, but this side of it, I then was able to say the word God without any more apprehension, because it helped remove that negative stigma that was created. I didn't want, because to me, it's like, no, God is not angry or it's going to punish me or this or that. And and so
I understand, because in a way, I think I go through that sometimes, because you grew up with your father who went to church, did all the regular, but he was beating his wife and beating his children. And you get, when you look at this world, the masculinity and they look down on the feminine, and the way they treat us with so much disrespect. So when they're continually telling you, oh God, he, you feel, yeah. And you're thinking of all the mistreatment, of the disrespect and everything in this world, no matter whether you, whatever occupation, even in the workplace, you know, the women are saying they're not given the same rights as the men, they're not paying the same as the men. And we get it all over in Hollywood, wherever. You always find the masculine looking down on the feminine. So here you have the word God, he.
Yeah.
And I could understand when you said it's when when the femininity of the creator came out, that love, that nurturing, that gentleness, and you saw that side and you realize it's not as we see it. There's an imbalance on the masculine side. There is that, but when it's balanced properly and nurtured, it's beautiful. Because you get some men who are really loving and caring, and they're very masculine. It's because there's a balance between the masculine and the feminine.
Yes, 100%, 100%. And I've even been like, I am going to write one more book. And it was very confusing because when I realized who and what I am and all of that, and really why I'm here and why Tobias is here and stuff, it made me really uncomfortable. And why I say that is the friend that brought me the book, in there, it pretty much said that it mentioned the word Messiah. And my brother asked me, he's like, well, did God ever say you're a Messiah? And I said, no, but God said you're the bearer of peace. That's what God said to me. You're the bearer of peace, and you're going to teach this, and you're going to help people enter the kingdom of heaven, which is not a place. It's a state of being. It's a state of presence. You embody it. That's 5D human consciousness.
Right.
And I sat with that, and I sat with that. And the conversation I had with God is, why me? Everyone asks that. Why me? Why me? And God said, if I would have came to you all at once and given you all this information, boom, it would have been an overload for you. You would not have been able to handle it. And he said, and you would have laughed in my face. You would have been like, nope, I'm not doing this. There is no way in hell I'm going to do this. But this is why you're here.
Yeah.
And so the book that I'm being led to write, and I know how I'm going to do it, it's going to be called Becoming a Divine Messiah. And the truth is, all of us are here to become a divine Messiah. All of us are. It's not one person. That's a misconception. It's not one person. You are, because God talks to you. And you have mastered the upper rooms of human consciousness. You are. I am. I know there's other people out there. Everyone is a lighthouse. Think about it as you're this bright light. You're this lighthouse. And when people are ready to be healed, they find you. You're the lighthouse to the world. When people are stuck in the dark and in the shadows, you illuminate.
Yes. And I think what people need to also understand, when Christ came, he came to show us the way.
Yes.
He did. And it's time we need to remember he did, so we have to do. It's not on his coattails all the time for him to take us up. It's for us to be as him.
Yes, 100%.
To be as him. So learn his lessons, listen to what he says, do those lessons so we can stand up beside him and walk with him and step. That's what it's like. A teacher going into a classroom with his children. He doesn't go into, whether it's a teacher for kindergarten or a university, they are there to teach us, to raise us, to be greater, so that they can sit back and be proud that this is what I taught. Here they are, look at them, they're learning, and they can be equal as me.
Yes.
And this is what we're yet to understand, that we can be equal as Jesus. He was there
Yes.
to teach us so that
Yes.
we start. It's not going to happen overnight. It's the
Yes.
journey. It's the journey. And this is
Yes.
what the Creator wanted of us, to take that journey and to
Yes.
continue no matter what.
Yes, and to believe in ourselves, because here's the thing that I learned is a lot of people, when you're stuck in the levels of 3D human consciousness, God can't talk to you. Your
Mhm.
higher self can't talk to you. But once you step up to the place of courage and you're
Yeah.
grounded, balanced, and centered,
Yes.
that's when you can hear the
Yes.
divine intervention. You can
Yes.
hear
Yes.
your higher self giving you guidance. And what happens? Here's the honest truth. When our kids act up, when we're around someone that's mad or upset, what do we say? Hey, chill out. Get grounded, get balanced, because you can't make good choices and decisions coming from anger or hatred. You're going to regret the choices you make. You have to calm down, get grounded, balanced, and centered, because then you can solve problems. You can find healthy solutions instead of destructive, damaging, self-sabotaging, ways of thinking, acting, and behaving. You got to rise up out of that. You're worth so much more.
Yes, yes, yes. Oh, Kerie, you are music. You are the harp. You are so much to my ears. Oh, you are so wonderful. Can I pick up on something you said, and if you can remember, when you were shown things and God was trying to talk to you, you said you were also there to do with the mass, to teach the mass. It's
I'm supposed to teach the mat, like literally I was shown that there will be a group of 12 people that are going to be teaching and helping a lot of people across the whole of humanity. And I was one of them, is what I saw. And what I was basically told is, you're going to teach master the upper rooms, and master the upper rooms is human consciousness. The only way to achieve oneness with God is to master our levels of human consciousness, where we embody wisdom, understanding, respect, acceptance, forgiveness. We emotionally calm. We take responsibility for our actions. We are patient. We are compassionate. We are satisfied with life. We have this inner confidence. We are adaptable. And we literally embody this. And that's the biggest thing. And let me give you an example of this. And they're wanting me to give an example. Is people now are mystified how I can be around the most toxic people, dysfunctional people, and they don't bother me or trigger me at all. Because I got into a place that I accept they are who they are. I can't change them. My job is to just love them. Regardless of where they're at, regardless of how they act. I can love them, but not like the things they do. I now know how to set healthy boundaries and stand in my truth. And when they say something that is triggering or wrong, this is how I look at it. And this will make sense to all your listeners. Think about it as seeds blowing in the wind. And when they say something that triggers you, here's what we do. We grab a hold of that seed and we water it with our thoughts, with anger, hatred. How dare you, scorn. And we water it, and it grows roots, and it festers, and it feeds. And it's literally a toxic weed in our consciousness. And it gets stuck in our energy field, in our chakras. Yes. And so what I do is, when I hear that insult or that nasty comment, I immediately realize that's a seed blowing in the wind. I have a choice, and I let it just blow on by. It is not worth my time. I let the little things go, because they're wanting to fight. They're wanting to argue. They're wanting to, get you triggered, because then they're going to flip the script on you and say, see, you're always angry. Every time I try to talk to you, you're always angry. What's wrong with you? What's your problem? And it's not. It's a game.
Yes.
Let the
It's a,
shit go.
it's a game they play to trigger us, and it keeps on
Yes.
going round and round. And we need to get off the wheel, the Ferris wheel of
Yes.
America, and let it keep on. But we need to step out of it.
Yes. So remember that when you're around someone toxic, dysfunctional, unhealthy, when they say something, that's a seed blowing in the wind. Do I want to grab hold of it and water it and cause me, you know,
Yeah.
emotional irregularity where I lose sleep and I doubt myself, or do I want to let it blow on by?
Yeah. So true. So true. Kerie, you are a breath of fresh air. You,
Thank you.
you have spoken so much, and I could go on, and I think I'm going to have you again to speak further at another time, because yes, this is what the world needs to hear.
I
Um,
know.
you spoke about, now you've written these books, but you write it under a different name.
Yes, I wrote, and one, I tell the story of what happened, and I don't use anybody's names, but like most people, I was afraid. And
Yeah.
so I picked Angela Meyer because it means messenger of light.
Oh, okay.
That's what it means, is I'm a messenger of light. And the affirming and focusing on living a better life is under my name. And when I write the next book about becoming, a divine Messiah, that is going to be under my original name.
Which will
And
be,
I'm going to write it in a style that's sort of like the Celestine prophecies. It's going to, be a story of the way that they're telling me to spin it is a woman that's on hospice, and the caretaker is talking to her, and she's learning about, she wants to tell a story of a friend of hers about her life. And then she realizes, oh my God, this isn't about her friend. This is about her. Yes. And she starts to put the pieces together and realizes, oh my gosh, there's so much wisdom in here. And to really help people understand that this is our birthright. We are divine beings. We are holy beings. We are of God, of
yes,
our creator, and we've
yes,
just lost our way. And that's why we are here right now in
yes,
this moment on earth, experiencing all this great chaos to rediscover ourselves. Because literally God said, no, I'm done. I'm done with this. And I want a world that is full of harmony and peace. And here's the other most important thing. This isn't just about us. It's about this planet, because Mother Earth needs us more
yes,
than anything. And the toxic, powerful, greedy, hungry people are destroying this planet.
it's yes,
They
yes.
they are. And
So
yes. And so that's why we have to clear all this generational trauma so then it doesn't repeat. Because here's the thing, is if someone does have narcissism in their family, one way they become narcissistic is out of trauma. Child abuse, bullying,
yes,
authoritarian parent, absent parent, neglectful parent. And so when we learn how to parent differently, and
yes,
how to heal and recover from trauma, this cycle of generational trauma will stop. It will no longer get encoded in our DNA. And the fascinating thing is they have shown me, I guess they call it quantum hypnotherapy, where you can literally clear generational trauma. I've been doing that with all my clients. And just the other day, I learned about that terminology, and I'm like, holy crap. They've taught me how to do that before I even knew that now they have a terminology for it.
for it.
Yeah.
Kerie, as I said, I could go on ages. How do people, do you do, have you got courses? Are there classes? How do people contact you? Please say, as for my guests listening.
So for anyone listening, the easiest way to find me is at mastertheupperrooms.com. You could even Google my name, Kerie Logan. It's spelled Kerie Logan. I'm on YouTube. I have another website called Empowered Within. That was my first one that I did. And you can find me on Instagram under Master the Upper Rooms. YouTube is Master the Upper Rooms as well. And I'd say for everyone to start, when you go to mastertheupperrooms.com, go to free stuff. There's lots of free images, free ebooks, free audios. I even offer a free 15-minute consultation. You want to tell me what's going on with you? I'll listen. I will give you my spiritual guidance of what I hear is the best for you. And we can go for there. I don't offer courses or classes yet because this is more about you. Because everyone is unique. Everyone has their story.
Yes.
Everyone does. And it's personal and it's private. And to me, it's sacred. And that's why they've been telling me, no, we don't want you to do groups or stuff like that, because I don't want to shame someone, or because I'm so non-judgmental, but other people in the room can judge and other people in the room can be harsh, as we've seen on social media.
Yes,
I don't want to have any of that negativity around me. This is about you and me. Let's heal you. One person at a time, because then when you heal, then it has that ripple effect on everything and everybody
around you. Yeah.
And once you learn this stuff, you can use it with your kids, your coworkers, your friends. You will be able to figure out, ooh, they're stuck in fear on this one subject. How can I get them to have courage? How can I get them to calm down? How can I get them to find acceptance and patience or even forgiveness? How can I support them?
Yeah.
You can use this as a tool. Literally use it as a tool, and you just walk them up. A lot of times if they're stuck in anger, I say, well, use that anger as a force for good to bounce you up here. Don't stay, stay there. Yeah, you can stay there, but that anger can be used in a positive way to get you to kick you in the butt and stop procrastinating. Do something.
Yeah, and it is, I'm glad you said that, because yes, use the anger, turn it around, take it from negative to positive, and use that to raise yourself up. Kerie Logan, thank you so much. I'm sure I'm going to ask you to come back again to give us another talk, because this has been absolutely wonderful. So to all my listeners today, before I go, Kerie, is there one, I know you've given us lots of golden nuggets. Is there one piece of golden nugget you'd like to give to everybody who's listening?
If you're an empath and you're struggling with toxic, dysfunctional, narcissistic people, I'm starting season 4 again. I'm going to start it in June, and I've got like 25 topics. I'm going to do a welcome. And in this one, it's really all about sovereignty, like reclaiming your power. And there will be affirmations in it. There'll be mini meditations. There'll be journaling exercises. If anyone out there is struggling in those areas, because I've been guided to go back and address these issues that you haven't addressed before, because it really helps us understand, why did I become narcissistic? And here's another big thing that I want to point. They're telling me, you got to talk about this. There will be one episode where I talk about the bad bitch, because there's songs about it now. Oh, I'm this empowered bad bitch. No, that's just a wall. It's just armor. You're still wounded inside. It's not a beautiful feminine trait.
Thank you.
Yes. And they are going to have me unpack that whole thing, because they want people to get that message. And they also are having me do one about the men that were taught not to feel.
Yes. So much. Yeah. Please.
Yeah. So anyone, that's my, it will start in June, and it's all about self-empowerment and really reclaiming your worth and your sense of self, because I was so lost when I had my experience. And now I realize why I had it, so I could teach this stuff. And so I can be the living proof that, no, you can forgive the unforgivable. You can rise above all of this. and you can find grace once again.
Yeah. Kerie Logan, thank you so much. And to all my visitors all around the world who are watching this, thank you for being here today. And I will put down in the bio when I send the podcast out how to connect to Kerie again and her books and all the rest. It will be there for you to read. So once again, Kerie, thank you. So it's morning time, so you probably go off and have some breakfast if you haven't had it now. And you've got.
Oh, I already did.
And for all my visitors here in London, we're 5 o'clock in the afternoon and it's a sunny day. We're coming into summer. Thank you so much for being here. Take care. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye-bye.